Welcome, this is Mr. Reese, and I have another Reese's Piece memory device of the day for you. We are going to learn how to factor polynomials, but you need to know that you always have to look for a GCF first. GCF stands for greatest common factor, and basically for a trinomial or a binomial, you are looking for the largest number that goes into all of them and the largest variable with exponent. So here's the memory device. You may or may not agree with me, but I could make a good argument to tell you who is the #1 global superstar in the world. Beyonce. Beyonce is the #1 superstar in the world. And whether you agree with me or not, this is the memory device. When we're factoring, the #1 thing we always have to do is look for a GCF. So you think the #1 superstar, Beyonce, and where does that GCF go? It goes to the left, to the left. GCF, GCF. You must know about factoring. You must know about factoring. Thank you, Beyonce. So here we go. We're going to look at this problem and go through it. I see a 5 in common with all those. So we're going to take out a 5. But I also notice they all have x's. So what's the most that they have in common? It's actually the smallest one. So x to the first. I wouldn't take out x to the third because this one and this one don't have enough. So you take out 5x, and that would leave you with, if I take out a 5, it's gone. Take out one of these, I still have x squared. If I take out a 5 from 20, that would leave me with 4. Take out one of those x's, still have 4x, and then that would be 3. You can always kind of check yourself too by multiplying or distributing the 5x back in to make sure you get where you started. So that's what happens here. We pulled out the GCF to the left, and now we see if we can go further. So once you pull out the GCF, you try to factor, if it's a trinomial, see if you can factor it into 2 binomials. So you have x times x, we have 3 times 1. And to get that combination of 4, it works because I do plus 3, plus 1. And if I checked it using FOIL, it does work. And that would be the answer. Let's try one more. So this one is a binomial, but I do see a number in common there. I see a 7 that goes into itself and a 28. And then out of these, the greatest common factor is actually the smallest one. That's kind of counterintuitive. It's the greatest common factor, but you're choosing the smallest exponent. But that's because it's the most that they have in common. They at least have 3 x's in common. Now once I factor that out, I would be left with x squared minus 28 divided by 7 is 4. And I already took out the x to the third, so I'm done there. And then you finish this off, if you can go further, this will be, this is the difference of 2 squares. And the difference of 2 squares is a special kind of factoring that shows up quite often. X squared is x times x. 4 is 2 times 2. And if it's the difference of 2 squares, you should get different signs. One's plus and one's minus. Because if you checked it, you get negative 2x plus 2x cancel, and that's why there's no middle term right there. So again, when you are factoring polynomials, always look for a GCF first. There may not always be one, but that's the first thing you need to look for. And where does it go? It goes to the left, to the left. GCF, GCF, you must know about factoring. Thank you for joining us today, and good luck with your math.